How are you everyone and welcome to Snack English. Today's lesson is the 8th one in the series of vocabulary workshop. The 8th one. This means 80 words, 80 academic words. The greater number of words you have, the more you can interpret ideas from others and express your own ideas too. Having a rich vocabulary will help you communicate in a more engaging way. In today's lesson, you are going to learn 10 new words and some of their synonyms. They are beneficial for IELTS, TOEFL, SAT, ACT, writing, and speaking. Let's get started. The first word is annul. Annul is a verb. If an election or a contract is annulled, it becomes invalid. It's cancelled. It's invalidated. In other words, to officially make something invalid. For example, the elected president will work hard to annul policies that have had a negative effect on our country. Some synonyms, such as cancel, invalidate, or abolish. Another example, because my friend failed to deliver the goods on time, his contract was annulled. Which means my friend's contract was invalidated or cancelled because he failed to deliver the goods on time.
They wanted to annul the marriage.
Do we cancel the law? Do we annul the law? Do we do away with the law?
Number 2, blasé. Blasé is an adjective. If someone feels blasé, he or she feels bored or not very interested as a result of having enjoyed many pleasures. For example, if you play FIFA 21 with your friends and you are used to winning all matches, you may say, I feel so blasé about victory, which means I feel so bored about my winning all matches. Some synonyms such as indifferent, unconcerned, uncaring, uninterested, or bored. Another example, since a new smartphone comes out every month, I am blasé to the latest technological inventions, which means because of plethora of smartphones, I become blasé to new inventions.
We're a little more blasé about astronomical events these days.
1 million views. And we are blasé about this.
Number 3, bolster. Bolster is a verb. If you bolster something, you increase it. If you bolster your position, you strengthen it. If you bolster someone, you support him. For example, if I want to feel better about myself, I need to bolster my self-esteem, which means I need to strengthen my self-esteem. Some synonyms such as reinforce, support, strengthen, or boost.
We expanded our partnerships with citizens as they work to bolster their democracies.
Let us seize this moment together. Let us bolster security. Let us seek new avenues of peace.
Number 4, deplore. Deplore. Deplore is a verb. If you deplore something, you express strong disapproval of it. You regret it strongly. You think it's very wrong or immoral. For example, we teachers deplore student behaviors that distract from lectures, which means teachers strongly disapprove students' inappropriate behavior in the class. Some synonyms such as disapprove, condemn, regret, lament. Another example, we deplore the use of violence against innocent people.
I would think deplore the idea that people are living on the streets or that people are homeless.
But there are those who deplore that message.
That's right.
Number 5, master. Master is a verb. If you master something such as support, strength, or energy, you gather much of it to do something. For example, you need to master your courage to face the bully who has been annoying you, which means you need to gather your courage to face any problem in your life. When soldiers muster, they gather together for service or battle. For example, the lieutenant mustered the soldiers to discuss their plan of attack, which means the lieutenant gathered or brought the soldiers together to discuss their plan of attack.
we can possibly muster working to solve them.
And I have to muster every ounce of courage I have to just make it out on that stage.
Number 6, ornate. Ornate is an adjective. An ornate building is decorated with shapes. In other words, something is adorned. For example, because the wedding dress is ornate with pearls and diamonds, it's valued at nearly $500,000, which means the wedding dress is adorned with pearls and diamonds. Some synonyms such as fancy, adorned, decorated, flashy. An example, if you ask me, an ornate gilded frame distracts the viewer's eye from a simple drawing, which means a flashy gilded frame, of course, distracts the viewer's eye from anything.
Village roads are lined with ornate wooden gateways.
A 19th century opera house with its gold gilt ornate balconies and chandeliers was like the modern day nightclub.
Number 7, perturb. Perturb is a verb. If something perturbs you, it worries you quite a lot. In other words, something disturbs you greatly. For example, the troublesome lad does everything he can to perturb the girl sitting in front of him, which means the lad does everything he can to annoy or upset the girl sitting in front of him. Some synonyms such as upset, agitate, anger, disturb, worry. An example, Dad said, I'm perturbed not because you failed the exam, but because you seem unable to understand why you failed it. Which means, I'm upset not because you failed the exam, but because you seem unable to understand why you failed it.
It was enough to trouble him, the text will tell us. Agitate him, perturb him, shake him to the core. And
I'm not being exposed to fluorescent lights or anything else that is going to disturb or perturb my ability to fall asleep.
Number 8, tether. Tether might be used as a verb or a noun. As a noun, it's a rope or a chain used to fasten something to a fixed object. For example, listen, you have to cut the tether, which means listen to me, you have to cut the rope. As a verb, to fasten with a rope or chain. For example, members of the boat crew will tether the yacht to the dock to secure it, which means members of the boat crew will tie up the yacht to the dock to secure it. Some synonyms such as tie up, chain up, or leash. An example, you should never tether your dog outside during the hot summer months, which means you should never tie up your dog outside during the hot summer months.
And then we got to find some young guy to go back here and hold on to this rope, because it's important to tether the rope at the bottom.
The water levels will also affect where and how you tether your boat at night.
9. Unison. Unison is a noun. If two or more people do something in unison, they do it together or at the same time. For example, the members of our new student orchestra need to practice playing in unison, which means the members of our new student orchestra need to practice playing together or at the same time. Some synonyms such as harmony, in concert, at the same time. Another example, because the two dancers moved in unison, their actions were completely in sync, which means because the two dancers moved together, moved at the same time, their actions were completely in sync.
And 3 boys said in unison to me, and they said, loneliness.
We may have to act in unison around this.
Number 10, vie. Vie is a verb. To vie someone is to compete him or her. In other words, to take part in a contest or competition. For example, many actors vied for the leading role in the famous director's new film, which means many actors competed for the leading role in the next movie. Some synonyms such as contend, rival, contest, compete. Another example, in the championship game, the two teams will vie for the national title, which means in the championship game, the two teams will compete for the national title. The two teams will rival to get the national title.
I cannot vie with such beauty and such sorrow.
All the top engineers around the world vie for a position in this program.
Thank you for watching. I hope you had a good listen. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you are a new visitor.